Assalamu alaikum and hello viewers, researcher. Today I am with you with a new video on writing research grant proposal. As many of you know, I have 25 years of research experience where I secure a number of high impact, high amount of research funding during my academic career. So there are local funding, there are international funding, there are small funding, there are major funding, which I managed as principal investigator, as a member. So I have some unique experience, which I'm going to share with you through this video. Writing research grant proposal is also important for young researcher, early career researcher, mid-career researcher, even for senior researcher as well. For example, if a research assistant, a master student, a PhD student, postdoctoral research fellow also gain some experience on how to write research proposal with senior members, through teamwork, this certainly will be beneficial during their interview, during their promotion, during their academic growth. So it is not only beneficial for young researcher, I think it is also highly important for senior researcher, mid-career researcher, because for higher level of promotion, the weightage contribution of this research funding is heavily needed. So this is basically I'm going to share throughout my slides. So these are main outlines, main points I'm going to share with you. So first of all, I'll share with you why we need to write proposal, need for writing research grant proposal, motivation rationally behind writing a research grant proposal, scientific need, our academic need, our promotional need, and so on. I also will be talking lightly on different types of proposal because different funding needs different attention, but my focus will be mainly on some of the core elements, some of the major elements, some of the essential elements of a research grant proposal. Then I will be talking a little bit about preparation and planning. This is one aspect normally researcher, academician, when they are going to write a proposal, they are not well prepared, they are not well planned, and as a result, high quality proposal cannot be prepared in time. Sometimes quality aspects, sometimes major elements, sometimes important elements cannot be addressed due to lack of proper preparation and planning. As you know, sometimes there are deadlines. So if there is no proper plan, if there is no proper planning, so there might be issues in relation with preparing a good proposal, a comprehensive proposal. So that's why this element also important. And then basically, this is basically the main focus, main purpose, actually, what are most important and common elements of a research grant proposal that can make research grant proposal winnable, comprehensive, can convince the funding agency. So mainly, title is one of the important elements. There must have objectives, goal, aim, purpose of your proposal. As we are looking for good quality, good amount of funding, so quality of proposal also will be addressed through novelty. So this is important not only for writing proposal, as you can see in some of my other videos, that this novelty is highly important for high quality research, high quality paper publication, PhD thesis, and for other innovation purposes. Of course, when we are going to develop a proposal, review of literature in the form of critical review is very important. So this is also addressed in some other videos in my YouTube channel. Of course, how data results will be generated, produced. So that is basically one of the important methods. So I'll discuss more on that. So since this is a funding, so what would be the cost budgets? What are the important elements under this category? I'll be discussing a little bit more on that. Since there will be funding, so funding agency always will be looking for some tangible outcome. So this will be explained with a little bit more details. What are the expectation at the end of the projects? Another important element is the monitoring and progress. This is also normally in most cases researchers are ignored. So I will put some light, shed some light also on this monitoring and progress of once a proposal is approved. And since this is a writing proposal, any content is written, normally researchers are in a rushing mode. They forget, sometimes they are careless, and as a result, they may have some issues with content similarity, and sometimes this minor issue, small issue may be a major issue because some panel members, some examiners, some reviewer may check the whole content through content similarity software. So if it is found that content similarity is very high, it may reflect that researchers are not serious about the ethical matters, ethical issues, and as a result, project might be rejected. As you know, the funding agency always, as it is very competitive, so they always will be looking for some faults, some flaws, some issues in the proposal so that they can reject the proposal. So let me start with why we need to write research grant proposals. Certainly there are scientific needs, there are academic needs, there are promotional needs, as you can see. So first and most important purpose actually should be to generate new knowledge, to advance the science, okay, to solve the scientific, industrial, societal problems. For example, many researchers are working in the area of nanomaterials. As many of you know that producing nanomaterial, synthesis of material is very expensive. So how this synthesis process, production process can be reduced. So that is one of the problem. And also many of us working in the area of solar energy, renewable energy. As you know, the solar panel when is overheated, due to the solar radiation, actually it reduces efficiency. This is also another area that need to solve this problem. Also in the area of nanomaterials, large scale production, industrial scale production is also one of the major issues. So these are the scientific problem, these are industrial problem, there are also societal problem. To overcome this problem, to solve this problem, actually, we need to seek funding. Through this funding, basically, we can recruit students, we can find collaborators, we can find these problems, who has done what, and as a result, we can advance the science. Certainly, to sustain our research, academician, researcher need to seek research funding to support our PhD students, master students, research assistant, postdoctoral fellow. Without funding, basically, we cannot support PhD students for their scholarship, research assistant for their monthly allowances, salary, similarly for postdoctoral fellows. Also, most importantly, we also need for our academic performance, academic promotion, for our job. These are very important elements normally at the higher level position from associate professor to professor. These are heavy elements apart from writing high quality papers, supervising the students, and some other elements as we know. So this is one of the very important elements, research funding for higher level of position. Even those who are research assistant, master student, PhD student, postdoctoral research fellow, when they are going for an interview for their position, for example, research fellow, lecturer position, in that case, if they have some experience in collaboration with other senior team members during their study, during their this position like research fellow or research assistant, PhD student, master student. They work with their supervisor, with their other team members, and they gain some experience in writing proposal. Okay, if they share that they have these types of experience and there were some funding, and I was one of the members, I also contributed in this proposal. Certainly, there will be more weightage. There will be given preferences, these types of candidate compared to those who don't have any experience in writing a research grant proposal. Because as you know, this is very important element for our academic growth. Because if someone can bring funding from funding agency, from industry, from other organization, this certainly will be a highly valuable contribution for the university, for the research organization. Funding also has many outcomes. So funding has impact on research outcome, as you know, for our academic growth, for visibility, for universities ranking. So we need a lot of research performance, research outcome, research elements. So as you know, we need to publish papers in high quality journal, in Q1 journal. We also need citation impact. We also need students to be graduated on time. We also need researcher, academician also need patent and certain level of technology readiness level. So if we have funding, if we have research grant, if we have students through these, basically we can slowly plan and address the technology readiness level. That is, as you can see, we can start from one and we can go up to a higher level through different funding mechanism, through these types of funding. So funding actually will not only help to publish paper, to supervise students, to recruit research assistant, to build lab. It also will help us to help researcher, academician to make their technology readiness level from bottom level, from lower level to higher level. Funding also helps us to plan, prepare for longer term goals such as prototype, and also through the funding, basically sometimes small funding, sometimes internal fundings are provided to us so that we can generate data through which basically we can convince the funding agency that we have done some preliminary research. These are the research outcome in terms of good results and also in terms of good publication, so that we can convince the funding agency that we already have some experience and we already have some preliminary results. This certainly will convince the funding agency. Funding also help us, as you know, the lab, state-of-art lab is basically bread and butter for high quality research. So when we apply funding, when we got funding, basically some portion of it actually can be utilized to develop the lab. So this will be for our long-term sustainable development of our research. So we also can spend some amount of money to build the lab. Also, through this, basically, during the proposal preparation, we can invite some of the other collaborators locally, internationally, and also as we can progress and when we also will publish. Also, through these, basically, we can establish connection, network, locally and internationally, and these are also very important for sustainable research. So there are basically different types of funding. Idea is to convey a message that you really need to know actually what type of funding you are applying for. Is it small funding? Is it a major funding? Is it a local funding? So that you know the focus, you know the niche area, you know the sum of the requirement. So to gauge, to understand actually the requirement, you really need to know types of the funding. Okay, so it can be a small funding, for example, sometimes 20,000, 50,000, 10,000. It is given by the university. It is sometimes given for postdoctoral, postgraduate research students, for kickstart project, for early career researcher. So sometimes these fundings are called small funding. Amount is not that that much, and also it is for shorter duration. Sometimes these are also called seed funding, so that you know some preliminary research can be done in certain areas. Some data can be generated, and also for some training purpose. Funding also can be major funding, very big amount of funding in the form of millions. So that's why you need to know in the major funding, major challenges, major problem. So you need to really prepare. Also, you need to study actually what are their requirements. Funding also can be national funding, local funding, international funding. So different funding body, different requirement, different area, different purposes. So we really need to know the purpose, goal, and also the specific niche area. So there can be short-term funding. It can be 6 months. It can be 1 year. It can be longer duration, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. Okay. Normally, long-term fundings are very good for sustainable research. For example, I did a research on high-impact research funding in University of Malaya that was for 5 years, and as a result, a lot of outcome were there due to this long-term funding. Funding also can be fundamental, applied, transdisciplinary, multidisciplinary. Again, different funding agency has different purposes, and types also will be different. So again, we need to know actually types of funding in the form of whether this is fundamental, basic knowledge, or those are applied, or only for the purpose of collaboration, networking, mobility. So in that case, maybe experimental activities will not be much. So in that case, actually, that to bring the people to create the network, travel, meeting, communication. Okay, so mobility will be most important activity. So that's why researchers need to know the types of funding before preparing their proposal, before going into the main proposal. So these are important things to know, types of the funding, so that you are well prepared. So planning is very important. These are normally happens as we are researchers, academicians. Sometimes we are overloaded with some other activities. So if you don't have proper plan, for example, a long-term budget or a big funding, or let's say it is an international impressive funding, challenging funding. So if you start it suddenly without thinking, without proper planning, certainly you cannot produce a good quality proposal, and chances will be very, very less. So that's why for major funding, long-term funding, big funding, actually we really need lead time, so that we really can step by step proceed to produce a good quality proposal. Need for proper lead time, so that you really can make a good proposal. So it is also needed, any proposal, any paper, any thesis, we always need first draft, second draft, third draft. So to make all these types of draft, basically we need pre-plan, we need sufficient amount of time. So if we have only just a simple draft, first draft, and now we are going to submit, certainly in competitive funding, it will be one of the drawback challenges, because quality work, quality proposal, quality paper actually need tremendous amount of time, and that is basically related to the planning. So when there is a call for funding, I think important thing is that we need to do our homework. Researchers really need to spend time with their team member. What are the topics? What are the focus? What is the duration? Which area they are looking for? Are we eligible? If we are not eligible, so it will be wastage of our time. If we are eligible, if it is in our area, certainly how we can improve it, how we can make our novelty strong, what is their requirement, what is they are looking for. So we really need to do some homework to tune, to align with that, with the requirement. Sometimes maybe we have expertise, we have many other things. Maybe some of the areas are not within our boundaries. So we need to do our homework, we need to do extra work, we need to cross little bit of our boundary. We also need to identify team members which are not sufficient in our existing team member. So these are basically needed to be well prepared to make a good comprehensive proposal. And also planning is also important to assign actually the specific task in relation with the objectives. So certainly in the proposal there are aim, purpose, goals, objectives. So based on the objectives, which task, which elements which part actually will be managed by or handled by or will be taken care by which team members. So these are the things also we need. So without a proper plan, sometimes it happens, we don't know who are the right person and who will handle which elements. And at the end, during the rushing period, during the last moment, you really cannot provide the assignment of tasks the right way, and also writing may not be appropriate. And as a result, panel members maybe will face difficulties, or will see that there are team members, but their expertise does not match. Their responsibilities are not clearly articulated. So as a result, there will be major problem in the proposal, and there will be chances that project will not get approval. And any good work actually needs regular meeting, discussion. Okay, it can be face-to-face, it can be now due to this online meetings can be there. These are very important to see the progress, how we are progressing, where we are, which team members working well, which team members not working well, which area we need more focus, where is the team member we don't have expertise, so that we can explore international and local team members to address that specific elements. So my strong suggestion is that when there are any types of funding, always looking for the guidelines, read it again and again. So if we read only at the surface, actually, if we don't read in deeper way, actually, there will be a shallow understanding, and we cannot write very good proposal. And also, this is also the academicians' researcher practice, and sometimes this also happens to us also. And based on that, actually, I'm sharing. Sometimes due to our other responsibilities, as you know, that we have many other responsibilities, so we are busy, and as a result, we keep it, okay, we will do it last week. These are really not good practice. So last week, there may have something, certainly will come. So that's why a good planning, time management, progress is really very, very important. And my humble request is that don't keep it at the for last moment. That's why I say that always make a good plan so that you have sufficient time, lead time. At least the proposal should be ready 1 week, if possible, 1 week before the submission. Then you really can address many other witnesses. You can certainly improve the quality within this 1 week. So if you are planning to submit at the last moment, certainly I can see, because quality proposal needs a lot of time, significant amount of time, thinking, planning, writing, punctuation, team members, so many things involved, even a small internal funding. So if you put it for the last moment, actually you cannot ensure the quality, and you have to submit in a substandard quality, and there will be the reviewer always will be finding fault, and as a result there will be very less chances for your proposals to be accepted. So that's why the planning, lead time, proper preparation is very, very important to make a quality comprehensive proposal. Please take this point very seriously. So again, this is a reminder. As you know, the lecture, I'm giving this lecture. Normally this lecture, as you can see, are not that effective. So we also need to improve our learning. I'm sure that you are spending 1 hour, 2 hours sometimes to learn these things. Learning will not be effective unless you spend time to make it effective. As you can see, more you practice, more it will be effective. Meaning that when some long lectures are going on, you can pause, okay, through the, I think the just clicking, you can pause it, you can take little bit rest, okay, you can drink something, you can eat something, and you can come back again, you can start it again, and most importantly, always take the note, okay, and also you see which are important elements. Pause there, you critically think it, and also particularly when you are going to practice, when you are going to write a proposal, I think you keep this video in front of you, and also you can keep some of the important notes. You write down the notes, and you get all those notes. Now you revise. And also where the important elements, for example, you are writing now title. So what are the points I have highlighted? Now you are going to write, for example, the critical review of literature. and through which you are going to address the novelty. So you pause there, you see there what are my the experience I have shared here. Not only that, you can explore someone else videos. You can read some books which you feel will give you the most important ideas, elements. So you really need to spend time that basically will make your proposal very strong. So this is actually very important thing. As you know, lecture reading, these are not that important. I mean, that are not very effective things. So that's why when you really want to learn something, want to implement something, you need to practice the effective learning. So what is the effective learning? Learning by doing, and do and practice. Okay, teach others, practice. So this slide is actually the most important slides for all of you. So I put it here, as you can see, the essential elements, core elements, major elements, most important elements of a research funding. So that's why this slide is basically very important for this video. So as you can see, when you are going to write a proposal, there must have a title. Okay, so how to write an effective title, a catchy title, a comprehensive title, I think that is very important, because this is the first thing actually the panel members, funding body is looking for. So if it is attractive, certainly there will be some good points, good remarks, and probability that the whole proposal they will read carefully, and it probably will create some good impression. And of course, there will be some keywords. Okay, it's not that important, but sometimes these are needed to identify the experts, panel members. Okay, so these are some reasons. And when we are going to write a proposal, normally it is called executive summary. Sometimes it is also called summary, abstract. So in different funding agency, that's why I highlighted there are different funding agency. They will maybe ask in different way. So it can be executive summary, it can be simply summary, it also can be an abstract. And there are sometimes introduction or critical review of literature. All these are combined. So that's why we really need to know actually the requirement, guidelines, the templates also given. So all those templates, guidelines, we really need to go through to understand, to know the structure. But these are basically the most important elements. So in the introduction, basically introduction, or sometimes it is also called background information, normally objectives, aim, purpose, goals, research questions, hypothesis, novelty. As you know, these are also elements for your thesis, for your papers, for your proposal. So these are also important here in the funding application. Normally, these are important things. It depends from funding to funding. Sometimes they will be asking only objectives and novelty, and not research question, hypothesis. So again, depending on the needs, depending on the requirement, you need to put all this. Maybe some other additional things also. As I mentioned, the essential, most basic elements actually I'm going to present here. Again, it may differ from funding to funding agency. So critical review of literature is always important for writing your thesis, for writing your paper. And here is also in the proposal, who has done what? What are the drawbacks? What are the challenges? Okay, through which basically you are going to address the novelty. What are the research gap? Okay, as a result, you can highlight the novelty in a stronger way, in a better way, so that examiners, panel members are convinced that literature review is critically reviewed, and through which novelties are clearly identified. As a result, during the novelty evaluation, the panel member will not feel hesitant that there is no novelty, there is no strong novelty. So if novelty is strong, if it is clear, certainly if there are 10 marks, so you will be able to get maybe 8, 9, okay, or maybe 10. So certainly there are methods how you are going to generate your data to address the question of how. Okay, again, it will be based on the stated objectives. So that one I'm going to share in one of the slides. So based on stated objectives, what are the equipments will be needed? What are the parameters you are going to measure? These are basically addressed through flow chart. Normally, flow chart is also needed when you are going to write a research grant proposal. So I'll show you examples of flow chart based on our experience. Also, the different types of project activities. This is very important. What are the project related activities and how long it will take? So let's say there are activities A, B, C, and D. How much, how long duration for that activities? And also in the proposal, when you are providing activities, also you need some specific outcome that is called milestone. Let's say after 1 year, you are going to file a patent, or you published a paper, or you managed to get very high breakthrough results. Okay, low cost nanomaterial synthesis, large scale production of materials, you have achieved certain level. Okay, or TRL readiness level 3 you achieve. So those are called milestones. And certainly in the research grant proposal, as I mentioned also earlier, you need team and responsibility. Who are the members and what are their responsibility, their track records, which part they will be taking care, so that it is justified. And in research grant proposal, budget is also very important. What are the cost elements? What are the category under this budget, and also their justification. So as you can see, these are the major essential core elements of research grant proposal. Of course, depending on the funding body amount, it might differ, but these are the most important core elements. And these are also important when we are going to write paper, when we are going to write thesis proposal, some of the elements. So as you can see, there are some different elements, there are some similar elements. So that's why I think it is good for academician also. This proposal also will help us in other ways. So let me start with this title and keyword. So this is basically in a comprehensive way I have uploaded in my YouTube channel, how to write effective, attractive title. So you can explore more, but again to say something, I have again brought some of the summaries, not whole content from there. So this need to be short and relevant. Again, in scientific writing, in writing proposal, thesis paper, this short, precise, actually very, very important. We should not write too long, too lengthy content, title that also contains a lot of jargon, abbreviation. These actually distract readers. As you know, when the proposal will be evaluated, some of the panel members may not be exactly expert in that specific area. Sometimes it is very hard to find exact expertise. So in that case, if you put, all those abbreviations, jargon, chemical formulas, those only you know. So you are limiting, and as a result, panel member will not feel comfortable to understand, to read these things. So that's why these are strongly discouraged. I mean, mathematical jargon, abbreviations, chemical formulas, too much abbreviation. Don't write all this in the title. You can put inside the text, inside the abbreviation tables, nomenclatures, as much as you need. Okay, this also should reflect the content. This is normally those who are new, so they try to write a proposal, whatever they feel, whatever they think. So that's why I think that if you come out with this keyword, as I put in the box, so that will probably help you to address the reflection of your content in the title. Attract funding bodies, panel members' attention. So title should write in such a way that it is simple, it is understandable. There are some attractive elements. It's not too wordy. It does not have so many jargons and abbreviation, and as a result, panel members will be attracted. So to write a title, I think first start with as you are working for some time in the topics, the team members, I think first come out with maybe 8 to 10 keywords, and from there eliminate weak keywords, and from there maybe 4 or 5 strong keywords. You connect them, write 3 titles, okay, and then discuss with other team members, get their feedback. Maybe sometimes also you can study in the Yahoo, Google's also similar types of titles also you can find through there also, and then you can see how they have written attractive title, and also when you see the papers also in the good quality journals, which are also highly cited, attracted. I think those are some of the recipes who will help you also to come out with a good title. Okay, and don't write more than 15 words. These are some guidelines, again, to avoid too lengthy actually content. As you can see, too lengthy content, too much contents are strongly discouraged by scientific community, panel members, examiners. Hope this will help you to write a better title. Okay, so the more comprehensive content actually in my YouTube channel. So this is also another good point, is that as you know, when we give our talk, sometimes due to limited amount of time, we cannot talk each and every detail. Sometimes we need to rush, we need to talk fast. As a result, the lecture is not that good, so we escape many things. So this is also another reason actually I created this YouTube channel, so that I can talk at my comfort way with each and every details, comprehensive way, as strong as possible. Okay, so the best content actually I always present in my YouTube channel, so that the most comprehensive contents are in YouTube channel, because there is no time limitation when I'm going to prepare. Okay, so now let's talk about the executive summary or abstract, or just simply a summary. So what are actually like when you write an abstract, okay, we have some component, we have some structure. As a result, we can write executive summary, abstract, summary in a better way. So when we are going to write an executive summary or abstract, I think there should have few sentences on background information. Sometimes these are also called problem statement. Okay, what are the problem in the literature? Through literature study, actually we need to highlight here. Okay, in the form of a very brief 1 or 2 sentences. Okay, so 1 or 2 sentences on background information, problem statement, objectives, 1 or 2 sentences on methodology, and there should have some content on, because this is not a paper, you don't have results, you are going to write a proposal, so you are expecting something. Okay, you are anticipating some results. So all those, that's why it is called expected results, significance, implications. These are some of the content also you need to provide there. Okay, so for more details, again, how to write comprehensive abstract, because abstract is similar to executive summary somehow. So that one I have given with the examples with some more comprehensive way in my YouTube channel. Please go through and learn more about writing executive summary or writing a comprehensive abstract. So literature review and introduction is also part of a proposal, because without support from others who has done what, actually it is very hard to convince the panel members, examiners, and also these are basically support. Who has done what? Okay, those basically will show also that these are important. This will show, this will tell us that these works are important, and also many other people has done works, has done some research, but there are some drawbacks, there are some challenges. That is basically the purpose of research. Some other people has done something, maybe method is very time consuming, maybe they have developed a synthesis process which is very expensive. Okay, so that's why we need to conduct research, and that is actually called the critical review of literature, meaning that there are some good findings and there are also some challenges, there are some issues that need to be systematically identified through proper literature survey. Okay, let's say 15 papers, you study, you read them, and now you identify some good points, some positive findings. This also shows the importance, and at the same time, you can identify that, yeah, this method is expensive. Okay, their process takes very long time. So our purpose is to reduce the time, is to reduce the cost. Okay, this is basically called critical review of literature. Again, critical review of literature, I have uploaded a video which is also very popular. Immediately after uploading, it's attracted many researchers. I got many good comments, and normally these are the content also highly appreciated by researchers. So I have uploaded this video where this writing high impact review articles, actually there are some details of content on how to address critical review of literature. Of course, that is comprehensive. So when you are going to write a critical proposal, you don't need that comprehensive. At least you will get some flavor, you will get some smell, so that you can address the critical review of literature in your proposal, particularly to identify research gap, identify the problem, okay, identify your novelty. So this also should be latest, relevant. Okay, so these are important things. You really need to think whether these are relevant with your proposal or not. Otherwise, examiner panel members will give the comments that contents literature are not relevant. So you will get the 4 mark. You will get the less mark. Certainly, it should be the latest, relevant. Latest meaning, I mean, for last few years, 4 to 5 years. Of course, you can take few for let's say 1980, 2000. But most of the 80 to 90% literature actually should be for last 4 to 5 years, 6 years, something like that. Okay, so these basically also identify research gap, highlight novelty as strong as possible. Don't write it one-liner, one sentence. Okay, so how to address the novelty, those are also I have highlighted in my original paper writing. So those video also already uploaded in my YouTube channel. So you can see how I have addressed, how I have written, how to address the novelty in a stronger way in the form of tables, in the form of critical review. Okay, so that will give you a good idea how to address novelty in a stronger way. So of course we have to provide the references. That is called the proper citation. Otherwise, it will be an unethical issues. And also you need to clear sometimes be careful. Sometimes references are not matched. Some numbers are missing. Some are not, you know, relevant. So you really need to check all those things as well. So literature review introduction, you need basically these are the important elements. So there should have aim, purpose, goal, problem statement. What is the problem you are going to solve? Hypothesis is basically if I mean there's some prediction of your solution, research question. Okay, so these are the things also I have addressed in some of my videos. Please explore. And here also originality, novelty, actually you really need to highlight. That is actually the reviewers, panels members will be looking for strongly. And there are certainly marks, maybe 20 marks. Maybe one of the major amount will be on this novelty. So if you take this lightly, if you don't address it properly, strongly for large funding, for international funding, so certainly there will be less chances for it because mark will be low. So that's why I brought you here, wow factor, worldwide, outstanding, winnable. So if you basically address this way, certainly your novelty will be very, very strong. So to address this also, we need to do homework, to identify global grant challenge areas in our specific area. What are the major problems? What are the local niche area in specific countries? For example, in some countries, maybe ready-made garment industry is a very highly potential area. So what are the research focus need to be to address, to accelerate that areas? For example, all over the world, the energy storage is also a very important area. So utility scale energy storage is also a global grant challenge. So these are the ways to identify the grant challenge areas, wow factor, strong novelty, high novelty, and also when we published papers in top-notch journal, for example, Science, Nature, certainly we need the breakthrough results. Okay, so certainly the novelty should be extremely high. Okay, so to do some homework, I always check with other researchers. For example, as you know, the MIT is the world's one of the best university, Harvard. Okay, so idea is that I mean, not only MIT, Harvard, maybe there are researchers in some other universities, even they are not maybe up to Harvard level, Cambridge level, but that specific area, specific research focus may be better than MIT, Harvard. So, okay, so you do your homework, identify those are the areas where researchers are working in this specific topics, in this specific area, what they are doing, what are the problem, what are the weaknesses in their research area, and highlight that these are the work also done by MIT, Harvard, Cambridge, top researcher, but these are the areas also need to be further improved. Okay, so this way, if you can address your novelty, your wow factor, global grand challenge, I'm sure I can assure that inshallah your proposal will be a very strong level, and certainly the panel member examiners, reviewer actually cannot make big noise, big cushion on these aspects of addressing the novelty. Certainly you will get the very good mark, strong mark. So as you know, the writing proposal or funding is actually highly competitive. Normally, if you get maybe 90% marks, 85% mark, 95% mark or point, then only you will get able to get the funding. It is not like writing a paper. Maybe in writing paper, if you get 60%, 70%, there are still chances. But to win a proposal, actually, you really need to be outstanding. So that's why if you write a proposal very lightly, without serious focus, without strong novelty, so maybe you'll get 60, 70, and there are already people who are very serious, who are very strong, and they got 95%. As you know, the very competitive funding is also limited. It will be very difficult to get the funding if we take it lightly. So how to write smart objectives? As you can see, the objectives really need to be reasonable, rational, within time frame. So to address that, basically, these are some in the effective, in the management, in leadership courses. These are called the SMART objectives. So it should be specific, it should be measurable, attainable, result-oriented, timely. As you know, sometimes young researcher, new researcher, when they start something, actually they write without thinking. As a result, objectives is like, so it is, let's say, proposal for 2 or 3 years. So your objectives are maybe for 10 years. Maybe it is for 10 PhD equivalent. So this is not proper. Okay. So let's say you are applying for funding for 1 year. So in that case, you should not be so much, you should not provide so much dream in this case. So in 1 year, rationally, how much actually you can achieve? Maybe 2 or 3 objectives. Okay, maybe 1 or 2 papers, maybe 1 review paper, 1 original paper. So if you dream so much, again, it will not be realistic and you cannot achieve. If you put so much things, then you cannot achieve, and when there will be the progress report, when there will be the evaluation, and then you cannot achieve, I think that will be a drawback and challenge, and certainly the panel member will be unhappy, and in the long run, if there are next time funding call, I think they will be looking for these things, and they will see that your proposal was not appropriate, your achievement, you did not run the project successfully due to all these over ambitious objectives, and as a result, in future, I think you'll face difficulties to get the funding. So that's why I think it should be very specific, measurable, attainable. Some of the things like we put, those are not measurable. Okay, cannot attain, cannot get the results. Okay, it does not make sense. It's not meaningful. Okay, so I think if you follow the SMART objectives, you think critically, that will make your proposal, your aims, purpose, goal actually smarter. That is basically the idea. So this is important aspect. So when we are going to write a proposal, how we are going to generate data. So we have objectives. So now we need to address the objectives. To achieve the objectives, how we are going to achieve the objectives? Through a method. We are going to generate data. Okay, some data we are going to generate. So we need scientific method. Okay, so that method must be based on stated objectives. So that's why we have highlighted here how to write the objectives. So it should be measurable, it should be attainable, it should be timely. That is what we call the SMART objectives. And also, you see in some of my videos how to write objectives. There are also called the Bloom's taxonomy, because there are higher level, there are lower level, there are depth and breadth. Actually, by applying that Bloom's taxonomy, you can address the objectives in different levels. Okay, so it should be based on stated objectives. So I have shown here an organization chart. Actually, this will address actually the all content, well organized, coherent. As you have seen, we have title and now we have objectives. So to achieve the objectives, we need to design a method. Okay, so this method actually should be based on stated objectives. So that's why, first of all, I have highlighted here So your methodology should be based on stated objectives. So this will make your proposal align with your objectives. You have 3 objectives. Now you have method align with your objectives. Sometimes if you don't follow this, you see there are 3 objectives and one of the objectives is not addressed for the methodology. So one of the the methodology is not addressing to achieve objective number 3. Panel members will identify this gap and they will give you the 4 marks and you will not get the funding because you will get the 4 mark. Okay, so to address that, actually this is called coherency. Now you have objectives, you are going to write a method. So now you check the objectives. All the objectives are now addressed in the methodology or not. Otherwise, how you are going to generate data for objective number 3? Okay, so if this is a mismatch, if this is not addressed, so this will be a faulty, erroneous proposal. Okay, it is not complete. So certainly panel members will give you the comments and maybe it will be rejected. So in writing proposal also, we need a flow chart, okay, in the forms of what are the activities, so that chronological ways, project activities with the timeline, milestone, team and responsibility. I think these are also in the, some other slides also I mentioned. So now let me go through all these details. So objectives and all this, you know. So flow chart, this is an examples of a flow chart in my specific area. Certainly there are science background, there are non-science background, there are medical background, there are psychological background. So always try to address in your own way, do your homework. This is just an example. These are some of the activities. So first, what you need to do, you need to do a literature survey. So through that literature survey also, you are identifying research gap. Maybe as an outcome also, you are submitting a review paper, you can put there. But some researchers also mentioned that don't put review paper also. So again, you see the what are the guidelines. Okay, different funding agency, different people also like different way. So, but certainly the critical review of literature, procurement of consumables, equipment, these are some part. Actually, you can provide these activities. Sample preparation, certainly you need to prepare sample, formulation of your sample, characterization. For example, you are going to do the nanomaterial synthesis. So characterization, these are really important activities. So you provide your necessary elements, activities, you draft them, and then you make them. You discuss with our team member, and then develop these types of flow chart, which are basically flow chart should be actually main project activities. Okay, that will lead to the outcome of project activities. So paper, patent, okay, some good results. So what actually a project? Project is to produce some good results. Okay, conduct research. So to conduct research, what you need? You need to prepare sample, you need to design experiment, you need to test the sample, you need to characterize the sample, you need to get the data, you need to analyze, okay, you need to interpret. So these are basically the important things. So you put in a proper flow of materials, okay. So this is project activities. So as you can see, there are activities, there are start date and end date. So conduct literature studies and project planning. Okay, so to conduct literature, maybe you need 2 months, 3 months. Of course, literature is a continuous, you can do, but I think the major focus maybe 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months also reasonable. So here again, the starting and end date, let's say you put, you know, the 1 year, I think that does not make sense unless you mention that every step we need the literature. But I think since literature is a focused timeline, I think the 2, 3, 4 months should be okay, depending on your duration of the full projects. Okay. So again, here the idea is that you think yourself whether time is rational. This time actually can address this point. Within this time period, actually, can I do the things? Is it too short? Is it too long? Okay. Is it appropriate? I think that you need to critically think. That's why I think the purpose of team members. Other team members also will give the feedback when you are reviewing. For example, when I see these types of activities as a team member, I'll see that these activities you are putting more times. Okay, so more time will involve more cost. So panel member will be asking that no, your time is not appropriate. It should not take so long time. And sometimes also you have so much work, but you put very little amount of time. So time should be appropriate. So you are preparing the proposal, you are working, you are experienced. So that will give you an impression that how much actually the time will be needed. Plus minus 10%, little bit here and there should be okay. Exactly may not be there, but at least it should be rationally, I mean the justifiable, so that panel members don't feel that it is too little time is given and it will not be attainable, and as a result, they will give you the 4 marks. So you can see these are the activities: synthesis of materials, elemental characterization. These are basically to generate the results outcome. Actually, you need all these types of activities. Okay, how much time is needed, start date, end date, you need to provide there. So now these are the activities, and also you need some outcome at the end of every date. Actually, you also need some outcome. So that is called project milestone. For example, after 6 months, you managed to prepare a good sample, okay, or you managed to submit a paper, or you got some good results. Okay, your results are giving good indication. That one, the specific date. This is not a duration. After 6 months, let's say after 6 months, specific date, okay, 10th of April, you will submit a review paper on the fundamental aspect, because now you have critically reviewed the literature, you have done some other work, and now you are going to submit this, and this will be an outcome, okay, a review paper, because this will help to improve the knowledge, to identify the gap, to tune the overall project, to improve the methodology, method part, okay, design of experiment particularly is useful. So at the same time, you are also going to submit a review paper. So this will be an outcome. Okay, so you mentioned specific date. Let's say 10th of April, we'll submit a review paper. Okay, on 13th of August, we'll develop functionalized materials ready for characterization, for example. Okay, and results of synthesized results. So you got some good results. That is giving an indication that cost of synthesis is low. Okay, it is compared to the literature, cost is 50% low, or scalable synthesis has been up to certain level done. That is called milestone. These are important things need in some proposals. Team and responsibility. So in the project, actually, there are many elements, activities, as you have seen in the project activities. So somebody will do the characterization part. He or she has very good knowledge on material chemistry, material characterization, material synthesis. So that's why his role should be in that area to take care of that. For example, I have good experience on heat transfer. That is my expertise area. So my role will be taking care of the heat transfer aspect of that projects. And also how many papers I published, what is my previous track record. Okay, all those also need to be provided, need to be written. It can be a short CV, it can be in the draft format, it can be in the content format as well. Okay, so team member also should be justified why they are in the team. It is not because of they are my friend, they are my relatives, they are from same university. No, it should be based on justification of the project, based on needs of the projects. That is, he or she is an expert. Why expert? Because he or she supervised many students, published many papers, has good citation, has track record, has managed number of funds. That justify. And evidence is that they are CVs, they are profile. Okay, they are Google Scholar profile, they are Scopus profile, they are university link profile. So if you say that I am expert, this guy is expert, but funding agency also will make the due diligence. They will also check whether you are really. So that's why they will be asking for your link of Google Scholar, okay, university website. So don't try to overstate, understate, or don't be unprofessional here. Okay, and also let's say you have a paper that is highly relevant with this paper. You can say that, okay, I have published this paper, and you cite there that paper, those paper also in the references. Those are the also important elements you need to highlight in the proposal. Okay, let's say you have synthesized these new materials, publish a paper, got a proposal, supervise a student, all those things I think you need to highlight in the proposal in the respective elements. You have the equipment, you have the lab, all those things you need to highlight also. Okay, so right team members with right experience. Okay, must be academically justified composition. Also, when you are going to write a proposal, it should be senior member, it should be junior member, it should be early career researcher, because the idea of a proposal also, we need to train young people also. We need to develop human capital, human resource. So that's why we need all. So senior people will train junior. Junior will gain the experience. Junior are also highly potential to generate the data, to analyze, critically think. So this composition is very, very important. That is team. Okay. Only a senior people cannot succeed the project without support from RA, junior researcher, lecturers, and so on. So composition also should be appropriately addressed. There should be international, local members. Okay, so local, sometimes some of the proposal, if there are international people, weightage marks are given more. Okay, this also will help you for international collaboration. So it's not only proposal, this also will help to establish collaboration, as you know, for ranking purpose, for mobility purpose. Sometimes we may not have each and every resources. So if we establish also collaboration with other people, through this funding, I think these are also good for long-term sustainable research. And also through this collaboration, we don't have some equipment they have, so we don't need to put it in the budget. As a result, cost will be very optimized, rational, and you can tell that these are the people we have invited. They have expertise, they have resources, and so that we can minimize the cost. This also will put very strong justification of inclusion of the project, and also success of the project will be stronger. Okay, so members also can be internal, external, and from the same university. Also, we need to train our own people. Also, not everybody should be from the same university, same organization. Okay, assign specific objectives, tasks of the project, track record. I think I have discussed all these things. So budget, I'm at the last portion of my presentation. So in the budget, normally there are a number of categories, number of elements. So how much money we need for different purposes. Okay, so it's not only for data generation, for many categories, many routes are there for which we need to provide the budget. Of course, justification must be needed. So one of the elements is actually the human resource, where we need to recruit research assistant, PhD student, master student, postdoctoral research fellow. Okay, so we need to provide for duration, monthly allowances, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. Also, we need to follow the guideline and how long they will be recruited and what is the justification. So they will conduct research, they will analyze the data, they will write the paper, they will write the draft report, they will draft the patent. Okay, these are the justification. Amount, duration, and also you need justification. That is about the human resource. Equipment, software, these are major share of content. Actually, the share of amount need to be provided. As you know, for major funding, big funding, normally 40% of allocation goes to equipment and software. Okay, without good quality equipment, without strong equipment, actually you cannot generate good quality data. Okay, so these are lifeblood to generate good quality data, to validate, to verify our ideas. So equipment, softwares, small equipment, major equipment, high-end equipments are basically needed. Again, here also you have to see how much is the funding ceiling. If it is 2 million and equipment is 10 million, you should not bring that equipment here. So there will be some other ways of equipment, that is service, rental can be done there. So you need to know the amount. So based on that, you plan. So if it is 2 million funding a project, so maybe 40% you can calculate, and then maybe 200,000, 300,000, 500,000. So you can allocate accordingly for that equipment and software. And also need the justification why that equipment is needed. So in the objectives, in the methodology, you need to mention that equipment. And also which parameters you are going to measure. Otherwise, it will be a mismatch. You put an equipment, but you did not link with the objectives and methodology. In the methodology, you did not mention that this equipment is needed to generate this data, to investigate this parameter. That will be faulty, that will be erroneous, and that will be mismatched, and that does not justify to use your equipment. Maybe you are putting without any strong justification or without any need. maybe for other purpose. Okay, so you need strong justification which parameters you are going to measure, and also need to be included in that methodology that I am going to use this equipment to measure this parameter, and this equipment need to be purchased. Okay, in the budget you provide there, okay, we need this equipment to investigate this parameter. That will justify. And also you need the quotation. Okay, without quotation, it is not acceptable in many cases. Maybe small equipment, maybe 2,000, 3,000, maybe, I'm not sure, but it is always strong support because that is a official documents, official evidence, and you got it from a supplier. Later on, you are going to buy from him. Okay, so you cannot increase, decrease also the funding budget. That is the correct way of getting your price, quotation. That's why you need appropriate amount of lead time. Now you are going to submit your proposal tomorrow, and now you are going to get a quotation. Impossible. These are bad planning. These are wrong planning. So that's why you need lead time. Okay, so that will help you to write a good proposal, and particularly you can get a quotation. If you just simply ask without specification to vendor, actually you will not be able to get. So that's why you need proper planning, some good amount of time, and also your good study also. Materials, consumables, chemicals, reagents. As you know, we need nanomaterials, we need chemicals, we need consumables. Okay, all those details as much as possible. You can write there, okay, how much, how many kilos, if possible, also try to get the quotation. That will be make your proposal stronger. Okay, so they are corresponding amount and also the justification. These chemicals, consumable will be needed to measure this parameter, to obtain this parameter, to prepare this sample, okay, to make low cost nanomaterial. Then there are also service rentals. So as you know, sometimes PSM, SEM, these are very high-end equipment, maybe 20 million, 15 millions are needed. So actually funding is not that much enough. Okay, so in that case, you need to rent them, you need to use them from other universities, other research organizations. You provide some allocation with the quotation from them. Okay, you get the quotation from them. For example, we are writing a proposal, and now we know that Monash University has that equipment TEM. So for testing 10 sample, we will get the quotation and we will attach this. Okay, this TEM will be used to characterize nanomaterials. That is well justified. Okay, so panel member cannot ask question if we provide that we are going to characterize these nanomaterials. We don't have this equipment at our universities. We have this equipment in some other universities. So we brought the quotation, and this is the amount. They cannot deny. And these are also the, the official documents. So if let's say Monash University giving you a quotation, I think that is a valid document. Okay, that is a strong justification of your needs. So sometimes you may need a consultant in specific areas on specific, the area maybe team is not strong. So you need to provide some allocation for that consultancy as well. To hire a consultant, of course, must have a justification. For example, I was in Saudi Arabia, and we know that in their proposal, actually they can hire foreign expert. Okay, for them they can bring in Saudi Arabia. They also can, pay them some, the allowances, because they are expert on that areas. Okay, so in some countries, those are the practice. In some proposal, those are the practice. Particularly if somebody an expert, you need to hire them to solve that problem. I think that is justified, and you need to provide appropriate amount of money allocation. So if you already have the lab, maybe 3 or 4 years old lab, some equipments are old, you need to calibrate them, you need to maintain them, you need to repair them. So some allocation you can provide there. Travel. So we are going to present our paper. We are going for collaboration purpose. We are going to do field work, to get the sample and also to test the sample to other university. We need to go there. We need to stay in the hotel also. We need also food. Okay, food, accommodation, all those also we need to provide here, because we are going to generate high quality data. That is for the benefit of the country, society, and university. So university, research funding agency, funding organization will support you, okay, for your accommodation, for your journey, even for your washing your cloth, you want to make a telephone call. So all those each and every intricate details with the justification you can provide there. There are, I know. Okay, you can provide all those things. So now the expected outcomes. So results, theories, findings. These are basically some of the expected outcomes. So some data, it can be a novel theory. So these are also called the findings. Okay, you have to highlight, you have to probably indicate here because you don't know them yet. Papers, patent, prototype, technology readiness level. Again, it depends on the proposal. So if it is the proposal that you need to address higher level of technology readiness level, so you need to highlight which TRL level you are going to address through this proposal and where you will achieve up to which level. Okay, you are going to also give seminar, workshop so that you can disseminate your knowledge, contribution to the society. Okay, you also can get feedback from the stakeholders who are involved in that projects. Network collaboration, as I highlighted earlier, these are important things for our sustainable research to solve our problem, our database, our equipment, our expertise. So these are also needed. And this also you can mention that we will sign MOU with this university, with that university. Okay, we will have collaboration, we will jointly publish paper with them. Okay, we will visit them, we will go in their university. Okay, we will use their equipment. Okay, these are some of the indication of that. We will have network with this university, with MIT or with Harvard or IIT or University of Malaya, for example. Okay, and also we will build our better lab. Okay, it will improve our lab facilities. We can highlight there. Okay, so we have existing lab. This also will help to improve our lab, and as a result, in future we can generate more data. This is again for our long-term sustainable goal. Important lab development. Okay, also number of PhD and master students you need to highlight there. Okay, number of PhD and master students and also the human resource there. So monitoring and progress. Normally when we got the funding, we forget about these things, that there will be monitoring and evaluation progress report, because funding agency giving money, they want return on their investment. Okay, they want all those outcomes. So if you forget, if you are negligent, if you are neglecting all those what you promise, you will be in great danger for future funding. Okay, maybe it will be terminated at the middle of the projects. So it is very, very important. So I am at Sano University. I know how during the audit these questions are asked. Do we have any proper evaluation approach, how we ensure that projects are running well? So that's why particularly in our center during the meeting, we specifically discussed different types of funding. How is the progress? Okay, in terms of the promise we made. Okay, so you need a very good plan, make a good plan with the overall project. So once it is approved, meet with all team member, hire the right people, right person as a project member, as a team member, time to time meet, discuss. You need to do your homework also. Where is the strong novelty? Where is the lacking? Which equipment you need to buy immediately? Which consumables you need to buy? Which equipment you are going to use? So a lot of activities needed. A lot of good planning is also needed for the success of the projects. Also to monitor. We have research assistant, we have student, but if you don't monitor, they will do their own way, and at the end you see that project goals and objectives are not achieved. It is in different way, which are not aligned with the goals of the project. So that's why monitoring also is important. So I manage some big funding. I know the monitoring is very important. So I monitor closely with all my team members. I was with the students, with the team members, and as a result, we managed to successfully run the projects. This is how also we build our lab and monitor work together at Sano University, and also we are progressing well, alhamdulillah. Plan how you can achieve the objectives, goals with the projects. Regular progress meeting. This is actually my practice. I think many people also make these things, the regular meeting, the discussion, some presentation, who are doing well, who are not doing well, which objectives are achieved, whether papers submitted, whether any challenges. So all these things actually with the regular meeting continuously, okay, every 2 weeks, every month, if you make with some key team members, ask them to present, discuss. As a result, you can identify strength, you can identify weaknesses, and this will help us to run the project successfully. Okay, we can see what are the challenges, where are the problems. As a team leader, as a project leader, you need to address all those things. Okay, it will be timely, and also when you need to submit the progress report, what are the necessary things you need. Also, when the project will be completed, we need to submit the report as well. So these are very important. We should not ignore, we should not take this lightly. Otherwise, in future, we will be barred from applying. Okay, we will not be allowed or will not be given. Okay, the panel member, internal grant, for example, they will be checking your previous projects. Okay, if they say that you did not address or you did not run it properly, there are negligence, certainly you will not get it. And certainly this also will be detrimental for your academic progression and growth. Okay, so it is not good. Check the project activities, milestone, recruit best candidates. So also need to be very careful to recruit the appropriate students, PGR students, research assistant, and so on. So when is the progress report need to be submitted? Okay, when need to be give a presentation to the funding body, funding agency, briefing. Okay, when we are going to give a seminar, so on. Make alternative backup plans. So normally when we are going to run a project, sometimes RA resigns, sometimes equipment breakdown, some uncertainties happen. So that's why I think when this happens, there are indications you need to have some proper plan. So that's why the teamwork, collaboration is very, very important. So some uncertainties, unforeseen circumstances may happen. Okay, so keep all those in your mind, and also how you are going to address. You need to provide the justification. Okay, for example, we had projects during this COVID. So as a result, the cannot go left. So I think this is strongly justified. As a result, we can request to extend the projects. Okay, sometimes whatever justifiable reasons you can provide there. Okay, so this is also another important aspect. As you know, that when we are going to write proposal papers, sometimes we just take the content from here and there without proper thinking. We rush it. Sometimes we also forget. Intentionally, unintentionally, it may happen. But if this happens, again, this will be weakness, and some evaluation panel members, the board members, examiners, reviewers are very serious. They will check through content similarity software. If they found 50% content similar, you are done. Okay, so certainly it will give a bad message that your quality is, because there will be some question on quality of the proposal. Okay, so this shows that your quality of proposal is very, very poor. So you cannot defend these types of thing, even though you are a strong researcher. It happens. So we have to be very careful with these things. We need to check all these things, and also during the writing also, if we don't simply just copy and paste, write our own way, even though broken, and later on we can ask someone to improve the content similarity. I think this way you can certainly improve this content similarity aspect. So also content similarity software cannot detect the figure. Okay, so you have to provide appropriate references there. Sometimes some researchers want to be very clever. They don't provide the references in some figures tables. So this is again detrimental. Okay, some people can see it, can check it, and can identify that this is taken from literature. Any content more than 1%, normally you need to reduce less than 1%. This is some of the practice. Also, in general, more than should not be more than 15 to 20%. Okay, again, it depends on different agency, different people. So it is not hard and fast rule, but these are good numbers. If okay, within this range, 15 to 20%, and as long as all contents are less than 1%, it is very good shape. Okay, so those about the project proposal. Now, as our intention is to help the researcher, those who are facing difficulties in conducting their research. So we have very good resources, research facilities at Sano University. We strongly also encourage those who are facing difficulties, want to work in this area of nanomaterials, energy storage, heat transfer, solar energy. We welcome you to work with us because we have rich experience. We have unique resources, research facilities, team member. So it will certainly solve some of your problems, those who are facing difficulties. Also, our service is very dynamic, efficient, reasonable. who want to use our service, you are welcome. So far, many universities, even industries also using some of our high-end equipments, and they found it very efficient, very timely. So as a result, we get very good feedback, and we welcome you to use our facilities in the form of collaboration, in the form of using as a service. Okay. So we spent 5 million Malaysian ringgit, 1.5 million US dollar to build the lab. So many visitors, even from MIT, Harvard, local visitors came and visited, and and they are impressed with our lab facilities. Okay, because this is something we did collectively with the support from Sanoe University. So this is also one of the uniqueness of Sanoe University. Okay, so this is our very attractive PhD program, PhD on Sustainability, Science and Technology. More than 15 students already enrolled. They are working with us, with the other centers, okay, groups. It is supported by our Sanoe University. PhD scholarship, studentship is 3,000 per month, very impressive. So if there are, this is also highly competitive. Okay, so if you are highly qualified, you are entitled, you can explore, and those who are also not qualified for, did not get this studentship, but tuition fee can be waived. Again, certainly this will be good return on your investment. As you can see, we have very strong team, very good lab, and once you finish your PhD, certainly you'll find a good job. Okay, we can make you very strong researcher. Certainly there will be return on your investment. So Sanoe University is #1 in graduate employability according to Talent Bank. So again, Sanoe University has some unique features, some of the good things here. So this is also the reason I'm here at Sanoe University. I know a lot of good things here. So for your brothers, sisters, okay, relative, those who are interested to study, make their higher studies, so you can explore more about Sanoe University's different schools, okay, and their respective website. We also have engineering school, where now recently introduced Bachelor of Chemical Engineering and Electrical Electronics Engineering, and these are also with the Lancaster University. By paying for 1 degree, actually you are getting 2 degrees, and also with the Lancaster degree, you see, so you are getting both Sanoe and Lancaster University degree, and also for this degree, actually you will get the Master of Engineering from Lancaster University. Okay. So these are some unique benefits at Sanoe University. We strongly encourage to try here at Sanoe University for your higher studies, particularly this engineering studies. So to cater your need, as I mentioned many times, so I have created this YouTube channel so that I can comfortably share my content, short content, long content. As you know, research topics need sometimes a lot of time. So to help you, to motivate you, to encourage you, I'm spending some of my quality time during the weekend to make some good proposal based on 25 years of my experience, so that scientific community can grow better. Some of the junior researchers face difficulties. I know when I was junior researcher student, I know how much difficulties I face. So that's why I feel obliged. I feel happy to share whatever experience I have gained through last 25 years of teaching, research, publication, funding. So I feel happy to share with you some of the unique experiences. So I have created this YouTube channel. Number of videos are already uploaded. Some are already highly attractive, highly used, attracted huge attention, as many are. There are huge views, watch times already within this short period of time. So for example, research strategy for early career researcher is highly attractive. Many people are watching this, so watching time is quite significant. There are good feedbacks, comments as well. So you can use this channel. You also can disseminate, you also can share, so that other people also can get benefit through your cooperation and help. So get help and also disseminate for others. And this is also a one-stop center. Okay, so at any time you can enter, you can pause, you can come. So this is what I say, that for your effective learning, okay, this is a one-stop center. For any time you can loot, you can share senior people also can share this content to their students, to the junior staff. As a result, okay, whatever they need, any specific topics they need to learn, they need to improve. As I told you, my 25 years of experience, some of the contents are very, very unique. I have seen some other content also in the YouTube channel, others. So I feel my contents are much more stronger, okay, because I have sufficient enough experiences. So those are the things for some of them don't have. Even some don't have even PhD, don't have much experiences. They are talking all these things. It is good they are sharing, but I think I have some unique experiences which I have gained through hands-on experiences by being here in Malaysia 25 years. And also I was sometime in King Fahd University. So these are actually shared. So every week I am also uploading. I am also providing some of my tips in Facebook, LinkedIn. So you can explore, you also can share, and you also can make comments, you also can suggest, and also you can subscribe so that you can get the content once loaded. That's all for today. Thank you for your attention. Okay. May Almighty bless us all. Okay. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.